Today, I want to talk about something that we see on a daily basis. It is serious. Is how do we deal with disappointments and how do we deal with trauma? Is there a best way dealing with this? And I want to urge you, I'm just going to be very brief, but I want you to connect with me so that I can forward you additional information and we can coach you. But the first thing is always there's a shock. In other words, how is this possible? It's something, I don't believe this. But after shock, the next phase is all about disbelief. And you still argue, there's no ways that these type of things can happen. And then after disbelief, there's a denial. This is not true. This is not true. But then you realize this, when you've got all the facts and the information, the next thing that really get into your heart and the mind is about fear. There's sometimes emotional pain. And then there's sometimes anger. Now, anger means if you take me on, I will take you out. And this is where a lot of people sometimes, they are still in anger. So the first 6 phases are all about shock and disbelief and denial and fear, emotional pain and anger. But you cannot stay there. You need to move on to the next cycle, what I call the next 6 steps, and dealing with all these traumatic experiences, disappointments. And you can think about it, in terms of the workplace. There's downsizing, right-sizing, you're going through a divorce. There's lots of things that are happening, or you see there's some looting taking place, or you name it. Your personal life, your business life, and your organizational life. So often then after anger, what are the next steps? It's about blame. I need to blame the government. I need to blame the organization. I need to blame and blame and blame and blame. But for how long are you going to keep on blaming? And I see this often, let's blame the old system and this and this and this. But you see what really need to start getting into your heart is about the powerful role of forgiveness. Because if you're going to allow unforgiveness to still, that's still in your heart, you sometimes reach a stage we call loneliness. You're on your own. And then there's a lot of sadness. And sadness, you realize, well, life is over. I don't like it. I've been so disappointed and I cannot get over it. And then obviously, then a lot of people start saying, well, I need to see my doctor, my psychiatrist, because depression is so real. And then even there's anxiety. So what I've realized that when I work with people, and I work with lots of people in all these different phases, you need to go through it step by step by step. In our video presentation, we've got lots of additional information, how to cope with, just unhappiness. But let me explain again. After anger, what do I see? It's blame, unforgiveness, loneliness, sadness, depression, as well as anxiety. So my advice to you is, let's cope, let's learn, let's work through it. I've listened to a lot of people, and then I'm saying, well, it's great that I understand where you are, and I understand the phases where you are, but what are you going to do? There's life after this situation, there's life after this appointment, and there's still the best part of your life is still in front of you, even if you've got cancer. What do you do? This is serious stuff. And I would like to give you more examples and more illustrations, as well as coaching you and dealing with disappointments, as well as dealing with trauma. My best advice is for you is connect with us. Let's get closer to each other. I'm looking forward to help you so that you can also have a life of significance. Looking forward to hear from you again.